In this video, we are talking all about this crazy Indiana Jones adventure refurb. We're going to break it down, deep dive into that. We're also going to dive into Toontown, okay? We're getting a lot of imagery and video now from this reimagining of Toontown. We're going to dive into that, break it down. We're going to talk about it up next on OG 55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG 55. We are talking all about the Indiana Jones adventure, I'm sorry, and the reimagining of Toontown. There's only one. There's no S. There's no S. It's like Disney California Adventure, right? No S.
Right. No S.
But I got my fantastic panel. My brother's with me today. We got Dre and the family man. Dre, if you can let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media.
Hey, the best place to find me is going to be at VashSky on Twitter. It's right down there. Just as it's listed right there, just go ahead, type it in. It should pop up for, as Christine Wissens McCarthy would say, for all the
robust
discussion right there. And if you want to see me, well, it's going to be on the channel you watch right now, Orange Go 55. And we have some amazing shows in the works. We have shows that we've already posted and so forth. More to be uploaded. I am very, very sure, very, very confident. So if you want to get in on all the Citrus Corner Orange Nerd Story Geeks Time with Jay action, you gotta subscribe, including my own Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh right from the Grove.
And down below, Mr. Manscape himself, Mr. Balls to the Wall, the Family Man 23. George, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me back, and glad to be back. Glad to be talking Disney with you fellas. And I just have to say, you know, when the real world and life hits you, you know, what better way to kind of soak that all in and just kind of absorb it out in with your brothers and talking nothing but good times with Disney. So I'm all ready for it. And so if you want to check me out on my YouTube, Disney Family Man 23, you can interact with me on Twitter at Disney George. You could also find me on the brand new podcast called A Walk with Walt. And of course, you can find me here on my home base with Orange Grove 55, with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Pay attention, it's Joe time.
There we go. There we go. Well, guys, it looks like
nothing can stop us now.
We're going to dive right in. But the first topic of today is actually the Indiana Jones Adventure refurb. This is absolutely wild. Disneyland's Indiana Jones Adventure returns with refreshed thrills. This is courtesy of our friends over at Mice Chat. Mr. VashSky, if you want to go ahead and set the table, my friend.
It's pretty insane just how much work they've actually done to this attraction right here. I mean, it's more than people I think might initially expect, in ways they didn't quite anticipate them to actually go in, right? So, for example, this right here, this comes from Attractions Live, right? Which is she does phenomenal work in the parks, doing all kinds of live shows and so forth. But even right here, right, this bridge right here, this kind of almost trestle bridge that actually goes out and over and into the actual temple itself. This is where both Standby and well, now Genie Plus individual lightning lanes actually go into right here. That's all been replaced, the whole thing, and it's like, wow, that's a considerable amount of work just in that alone. However, there were far more different things that were actually done, like small things that people would never consider, right? So the Jeep outside, for example, that Jeep now it's got the back tarps that used to cover the bed of it, the bed of the truck there. Well, now that's all kind of up and over, and the interior is all exposed with items that people can actually see and discover. So it's like, wow, that's a pretty cool kind of thing. I never really thought about it myself. Opens up the area up as well, and has, it contains some more Easter eggs, which I'll allow you to actually find yourself. Let's see here. Where do we want to go? Do we want to go? Yeah, so I think we should go through the ride step by step and kind of highlight these things as we go
Yeah,
along. I think that might be the best way.
Like pause along the way, kind of break it down. And...
Yeah, pause along the way, break it down. In the queue, they have restored all of the effects that people can interact with. They've refreshed it a little bit, cleaned it up, all of that. And I know there are maybe different procedures that they put in place to actually handle now the 3 sets of guests that actually go on this attraction: regular standby guests, Genie Plus guests, and guests for the Disability Access Service. So they've adjusted those procedures as well, and hopefully that will facilitate more people actually getting on this attraction. But we will see. So... here we go. This comes to us via Mr. Daps. Now, I would play this with audio. Guys, you'll never hear this video if I do. So
yeah, exactly.
We're just going to have to go through it step by step here.
Here we go. All right.
Alrighty. Now, there's
right off the gate, this is so much brighter than it used to be. It's like insane.
So much brighter, yeah. And you can actually see the effect that's on here. Crystal clear.
And there was someone who did a before and after video, and you could literally tell of how dark the attraction really was before. And you don't really think about it. You think, okay, it's bright enough where you could see, but when you compare it to this, it was extremely dark.
Extremely dark. So this is using the latest projection mapping technology. Ever since Treater Carter started this process of adding projection effects to Indiana Jones itself, they've kind of built upon that foundation and have added more projection effects as we go along, and even with this new refurb. But with the existing effects, they replace all the projectors with high quality 4K, ultra, high definition. And I don't know if they took the original source animation and changed that or upscaled that as well, but I mean, it looks super crystal clear and bright now, just like you said, George, which is awesome. Some people were a little bit disappointed with this scene because, well, they didn't restore the original effect that went in this room, so... This comes to us via, I believe, Amusement Labs. And Amusement Labs demonstrates how this effect previously functioned. So instead of just, the 3 doors that you see, there's actually 5 doors present. And what would happen is the whole room would slide. so the walls, the top there would all slide over, and well, you still have the effect of having 3 doors, but now you're going in different directions, or at least that's what it's
the illusion that you're going
right. The illusion, right?
This is absolute brilliance, by the way. This is absolute Imagineering at its best. Unbelievable.
And of course, we don't have it back. So
no, we don't have it back. From what I've been trying to get some information on what actually happened. Amusement Labs provides a reason. I believe it was like a chain or pulley that failed, and they didn't actually opt for a replacement. Instead, they actually opted for projections, and it looks like they're going down that path, which keeping down that path, which is kind of unfortunate. I've heard from other sources that Imagineering actually preferred the projection effect, and well, it's less maintenance, so this is the way you go. But it was a really, really cool effect. It was a really kind of cool thing to enter. To think like you're entering into three different rooms when you're just entering into one of them. You can kind of see on the security camera here.
Oh my gosh.
And
this is incredible.
That's cool.
Oh,
this is dope, dude. I've never seen this footage before.
Ever seen it? Oh man. Amusement Labs, check it out. How it works, Indiana Jones. It's very, very cool. Probably needs to be updated though after this this video here.
Now I do want to say with the projection mapping, we're all pretty critical about with Treater Carter on the channel, and rightfully so. There's concerns we have with like the Tiana's Bayou Adventure and what have you. I will say though, I mean, this was kind of her thing, from what we understand. This projection mapping being kind of utilized in Indiana Jones Adventure, and I think this is a great example of using this technology right. It works so well. It adds so much to this show.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It really is. So hats off to her. I mean, this is really, really kind of brilliant.
Hats off to her for sure. This is a cool thing, and I'm so glad that they that this is augmented the attraction so successfully. So here we go. It sounds to me, and audio is going to make it's going to be a pivotal player in this redo. Sounds to me that they re-recorded the lines for Mara once again. I'm not sure what the thought process there is. Maybe the original recordings are a little bit too. The low end is a little bit too pronounced, so it
sounds more high depth to me.
Yes.
And it sounds like it was a more up to date. Make it more clear,
right?
Where it kind of the audio matches the visual.
Yes, yeah. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, James Earl Jones actually performed the original Mara voice back in the day. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's where the source for that audio came from originally. Well, he's got a deep baritone voice, right? Well, when you have a big kind of enhanced motion vehicle that you're actually riding on, and you're going through, and there's a lot of props moving and shifting in different areas. There's a lot of background noise and all of that, and music and going on like that. You could have a hard time hearing and understanding, no matter how loud that audio is actually played, just because of the frequencies that are also within that spectrum. That can kind of mask that audio, right? So I think it would make sense, George, to re-record those lines and just kind of maybe with a voice that cuts through a little bit better. And I think that's what they've achieved here. You could see projections are very much enhanced. It seems like the eyes have been enhanced as well to really kind of make it clear. The eyes are what send you on this whole adventure. So that's really, really cool. A really good detail. But the audio itself, it sounds like new speakers, some new or enhanced recordings, and maybe even a new sound system, because everything was crystal clear. Go back and watch videos from before the refurb. See if you can understand Indy in any of those. With this, you can understand him very, very clearly, which is a welcome addition.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Oh my God.
Absolutely gorgeous, yeah. And the Hall of Riches or whatever is also very impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
they kept the lightning effect. That's cool.
Kept the lightning effect. Looks like it's been restored. It's more lightning than I've seen for a while. And then if I can get a good shot here, it's very difficult for this ride. But it looks like they've altered this scene once again. So the first iteration of this scene, they were supposed to have like a very rudimentary projection system behind, and then like almost like ghosts being projected onto like a fog effect. And that was the first incarnation of this scene right here. And you have Indy with both arms and his back against the doors trying to keep it closed. They altered that effect shortly after Crystal Skull, if I'm not mistaken, shortly after that movie was actually released, and they adjusted it to where now Indy, he has his whole kind of shoulder into the door, and the other one crack closed as well. And I believe they had like a curtain effect or something, like a shimmery. Right. You know what I'm saying, George?
Yep. Yeah, it was more like a curtain, and didn't it also have like a multicolor look to it? Like it had like some reds and greens and blues.
It was like a sparkle pattern almost. Yeah, and then you kind of light it, and it kind of looks like something. I don't know. Looks like the Power of Mara or something. I don't know what they were going for, but it never really quite worked. You could always kind of tell, okay, that's just some drapery, right? Here, they've adjusted once again, so they've.
I'm sorry. Wait, I think someone's coming up.
I heard the hype train right behind George. So you know what that means.
Oh no! I must have hit that track switch.
There we go.
Gotta hit the track switch, right? No. All is well. All is well for sure. Gotta allow Mickey to have some shenanigans every once in a while, right? But it looks like they've replaced that whole effect that wasn't very convincing with an actual projected effect. So it looks like there is mystical magic that is trying to break through some kind of portal or something, and Indy's trying to close it for you so that you guys don't get sucked into the. I don't know, the MCU or something. I don't know where you go. All right? Yeah, it's a multiverse. But all of the lighting, all of the I believe Brady McDonald from OC Register actually said that all of the lighting for every single dark, blacklit scene that you see has been refreshed. So new lighting in here as well to make that scene really, really stand out. Anyway, as we go around, we'll see. Another little disappointment. Okay, all right. We didn't get anything that replaces the old ice machine effect. That was a little bit sad. I was really hoping, and I was hearing from some people, maybe we can get a projection effect up there. And turns out, maybe
cool.
Not the case.
From what I
cool.
Yeah, it would have been. From what I understand, though, and I've heard this for years, the work that would go into fixing that would not be worth the benefit.
It wasn't even just fixing it. It was like even to just maintain it, to get it to work every single time a vehicle were to come up there.
The ice machine, that original effect is never coming back.
Never coming back.
Never. There's no chance in the world that's coming back.
You have a much higher chance to walk into McDonald's and getting an ice cream before they're.
I don't know about that. Those ice cream machines are hit and miss. I don't know.
There's an interesting right to repair little subtext there with that ice cream machine thing. Check it out, guys. If you ever want to look up something, why you can't get an ice cream cone at McDonald's. I'm just saying, there's more than meets the eye with that. But George, I think you have. I think it's very, very accurate. You have a better chance getting that than getting this. And the reason is like there's a huge ice machine up in the ceiling. It would require the whole ceiling to be removed and taking that out, and even then, it will never work the way that it was intended. But I was hoping for a replaced effect. Not bringing back the ice machine, but maybe a projection that could be installed, in which it kind of gives you the illusion of the old ice machine effect. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no. But this room looks awesome. We'll get to it. Okay. Now here's where we need to talk about some hands-on cleaning, if you were, OG.
Right.
Could you tell us about this real fast?
So OC Register was reporting that the Imagineers actually took all the skulls out of this attraction and cleaned them and repainted them all individually.
Yes.
The amount of work and the amount of love that went into this, I am enormously impressed. Hey, look, you know what? I mean, we criticize Disney a lot. Sometimes, stuff falls under the radar with maintenance or what have you. We've seen a lot of issues with Splash Mountain. That's a whole other story, by the way. There's news on that. But it's really refreshing and good to see Disney take a lot of care into an iconic attraction like Indy. And when I read that they took each skeleton's head and each, and they cleaned them all and they did them by hand like that. That's great to hear. I love it. Now, it's a little excessive, but hey, I don't mind that.
But it also goes to show you that when they want to do something,
yes,
they can do it. It's not the fact that Disney isn't capable of doing these things. It's their willpower to want to do it. And when they want to do it, they do it well.
I think I remember a statistic back when the attraction first opened that I think there was 1,000 skulls dotted around the entire attraction. To clean each one of them by hand, that was an immense feat. You guys have no idea. This is a lot. And all 40 mummies were also refreshed as well, as featured in the article.
And quite honestly, it shows. This attraction, it looks beautiful. I haven't seen this attraction in this shape, probably since I was freaking 15 years old. That's been a while. That's been a while. Let me just say that.
And I believe there was an effect that I think it was that right there. I know it's blurry, but there was a row of skeletons that kind of came at you a little bit. I think that has been repaired as well. That hasn't worked for quite some time. I'll have to see, though. I haven't ridden this attraction personally, but from what I can tell on video, I think it moves. So that's cool.
Very cool.
There should be like a skeleton that comes out, but I've not seen video of that either. It was working previously. This we all wanted, a different effect in this room here.
I actually like this
room.
though. I actually
Yeah.
like the bug effect. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't bother me at all. I think it's always been kind of cool. What do you guys don't like about the bug room?
Oh, I love the bug room. I love the bug room. It was just getting really dim, and it wasn't necessarily convincing.
It's not the bug effect that bothered me. Yeah, I think it was the projection lighting that didn't really, because it started getting really dark where you couldn't even make out what it was.
Yeah. So, and that has been replaced as well. Going off of the Brady McDonald article, digital projections throughout the attraction are much sharper, brighter, and more colorful. All of the blacklight scenes have been touched up and relit. Projections that haven't worked for years or were too degrading to see are now visible and more vibrant. So you can see with the bug room right there. Very, very cool.
What a clever effect that, to have the headlights and light it up. That's what I'm saying with this attraction. It's Imagineering at its best. There's so much brilliance sprinkled into this attraction. It's out of control.
So now we're going across the bridge, and the bridge has received some work in the past. However, one effect that, let's say, people are championing for is to restore the actual collapsing bridge effect. So that was done via shaking the ropes on either side as you actually go across. And it was kind of hard to see when you were actually on the Jeep itself, but when you had that shot as you enter into this room for the first time, it was very, very present. So they want to restore that effect. We'll see if they are successful. And keep in mind, guys, it's not complete yet. There are still things that are being worked on actively and are just awaiting activation.
We've heard from multiple sources that this is not all the way completed yet. So look forward to more of these.
More things on the horizon.
Yes.
This scene looks great. Very bright, vibrant again. And here we go.
I hate snakes.
The snakes. The snake. It works. And even the tongue moves this time. But there you go.
And the color scheme is much better too. I don't know. There's something more. I mean, it's always going to look fake, but like I just like the coloring on this. But the other one seemed a little too blacklighty to me.
Yeah.
This seems a little bit more realistic.
It's much better than the original. I will say that. I'm still a bit underwhelmed based off of, the snake that I kind of envisioned what was getting put in when you just kind of saw that face. I was kind of wishing it would have been a little bit more animated, movement. Like I wanted something like where, I mean, this is a bit far-fetched. Like I wanted something to literally come down, swoop down, grab a person, take them out of the vehicle and slam them against the wall. Like that's
there you go.
But I mean, like with everything that Disney's going through next time, we could only hope for the next 10, 15 years.
Well, you know what? That's a cool idea though, George. Like actually, like,
cool, yeah.
right? No, I mean, like realistically, like to have it come down, like to have it come from the ceiling like that as a surprise, right? So have it come down like head first like that and kind of like, and then go back up, I think would be really neat. Because you wouldn't see it a mile away. It would be much more of a surprise. Correct.
See, like when you're going around the corner, it's like you're already anticipating it's sitting there waiting for you.
Yes. Yeah. No, I 100%.
You could even do it at like a projected effect where like the shadows of a snake maybe devouring somebody right over here, as you come around. And then you just see him like after that snake had done that and then it attacks you. That would be cool.
That's sick.
Hire
us, Imagineering. Hire us. We're available.
I'm telling you. Let's go. Bring it in. Here we go. Okay,
so this is actually.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't think he. I don't know if he's going to show it, but there's like a kind of like a smoldering lava effect that is now down beneath. I don't know if he actually focuses on it or not, though, but it's pretty cool.
We might see it as we.
Can I go this way?
Right here, yeah. But super bright. Looks like it's been repainted. Look like there's new lighting. That looks really good. And the fire is working. So the fire in Mara's eye is working. The lasers have also been reworked. I believe they're now blue instead of green, and they're a little bit more apparent, right? They're a little bit more, they stand out a little bit more. So that's good. And then right here, up here, there you go. I think that has been redone, just with an updated kind of scrim. So
Cool.
That's good. Refresh, general refresh.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, here we go.
Let's see.
Part.
Oh man, missed you.
Yeah.
There is I know what.
You know what I'm talking about?
Talking about. Yeah, there's a smoke. There's like a. It looks like bubbling lava.
Yeah.
Down below.
Yeah.
And again, that. You know, well, go ahead, OG.
No. I mean, it gives some people something to look forward to when you actually ride it. A little surprise.
Absolutely. There you go.
Because I remember actually the
love
last time, I don't remember that little flame to the left. That wasn't. I mean,
Yes,
I
there's-
remember it in the attraction, but the last several times going on, it wasn't working.
Right. So that's actually a good point. So there's 3 flames in this room. There is obviously the one in Mara's eye. There's supposed to be one directly to your left here. That's just off camera. That and you can see the how it's
I'm
lit
sorry.
up
Is
there.
that was that Mara the skull?
Yeah. That's yeah.
Oh,
that's
I
Mara.
thought that was the representation of Chapek's career at Disney.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Yes, folks, we only have high-class stuff.
There you go. Yeah, you can see the illumination right there. That's the fireball directly to your left there. And there's a fireball at the far end of the room, which you made a point of, George. And right there. So
Right there. And perfect,
looks like they're all
precise timing. Like right as you
Yes.
drop, and it's like
Right.
boom. And that's the one thing that I love about Indiana Jones Adventure. There are certain attractions that are literally built like a film set. And it's where it's like it is an attraction, it's a ride, but it makes you feel like you're literally going through a movie scene where stuff is so precise. And I actually get that from Forbidden Journey at Universal, like where everything is just so almost like precise to the movement of the vehicle when it's time for a special effect to come along.
And that was Walt's philosophy too with these attractions, is to kind of have your eyes be the camera, right? And have it be very much like the setup and all that, the reveals, all very cinematic. And this is why I love Indiana Jones Adventure, because it really is a return to form or like an evolution of like kind of what Walt set.
Yeah,
it's it's pretty much flawless. I mean, I absolutely love it.
it is.
I absolutely
It is.
love it.
The Indiana Jones Adventure is I like to think of it as the culmination of the second generation Imagineers and everything they went through. You know, whether it comes to Disneyland Paris, Tower of Terror, Splash Mountain, all of the attractions that came before. It's like they utilized every single tool in the tool chest and every single trick up their sleeve in order to actually bring this attraction to life, and it's just phenomenal. That's why it's still one of the best after 30,
Since 95.
95, yeah, so almost 30 years, right?
Crazy.
And it's like and it's like I love a good attraction that like no matter which seat you're sitting in or wherever direction you're looking, you're going to find something. So each time that you ride it, you're going to find something new. Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Haunted Mansion, Golden Zephyr, you know, like all those classics.
Right. You know, it's funny
Golden
too.
Zephyr.
Not funny, but Golden Zephyr. You know, it's interesting though. And I don't know. The 90s were kind of the perfect kind of like middle ground for, so to speak, for both attractions and even like movies and television, where it was like the 90s had like one foot in like the Walt Disney era where everything felt very much like they were very akin to stuff that Walt would have done, but it also had one foot in the future where it was very much an evolution going forward. We see that with Indiana Jones Adventure, perfect example of that, but we even see it with like the animated films. You know, you watch a movie like Beauty and the Beast. It's very reminiscent of Walt's films, but yeah, it's fresh enough and forward enough where it's new, right?
Yeah.
And the 90s were just a perfect freaking sweet spot of that. And I just absolutely loved whether it was attractions, Imagineering stuff, or like the films, or even the TV shows. Like, you know, even like from other studios, like Warner Brothers was knocking out of the park with stuff like Animaniacs, which again is a perfect example of like, it felt very classic, remnant of the classic content, but it was forward as well. It's just a great time for content and entertainment in general. The 90s were just amazing.
Yeah. And that goes off of, you know, think about the changing times, right? So the baby boomers, you know, they experience Disneyland and they grow up with Disneyland, right? And then, you know, they grow up to being parents themselves and having children themselves. So a lot of people were actually born about the 80s and 90s, and that's what gave rise to, hey, Vegas, we're going to be family friendly, and all these other kind of family oriented attractions and so forth. It's just a phenomenal time for themed entertainment and, well, entertainment in general.
Well, and you know what? I got to say something real quick. Boomers, you know, they get a lot of shit on Twitter, you know? I got to give them credit, though. For the 90s, you did all right, boomers.
Pretty good.
You did all right.
Pretty good.
At least in this area with this kind of stuff.
I agree. Speaking of boomers, Imagineering executive creator Kim Irvine. No, joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. But I had to bring her up here. So that's the transition you're going to get, folks. Imagineering executive creative director Kim Irvine, who is a wonderful lady and has done amazing work with all sorts of Disneyland projects.
Amazing.
Yes, she has been, let's say, criticized for some of the creative choices as it relates to mainly Small World and New Orleans Square. But hey, you know what? She's always fighting for quality. And I think she has a lot more hits than misses. So, phenomenal lady. Wish her all the best. But this is what she said about this scene in particular. Mara taunts guests even further with a powerful electric-like energy and frenetic apparitions. So, this is what you see here. Right there. Boom. And what that's doing there is it's creating a story reason as to why your Jeep is disabled, right? Because when you go down into the kind of catacombs of the temple, you just like stop randomly, like in the middle of it, and then you know your Jeep has to restart, and then you go on further. But there was never really a story reason as to why you just stop there. Now I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it all has to do with dispatch at load and unload. So if they're kind of falling behind, or if they are if they have enough Jeeps on on the track at once, it has to stop here in order for all the other scenes to actually take place, and so it doesn't get too backed up, right? So that's why you stop here. Operationally, it makes sense, but story-wise, it never did. And this is actually providing a reason as to why your vehicle stopped. And
this is a replacement to the rat room, so keep that in mind as well.
No, it is not. That is fake news.
I was wrong. What?
You're wrong. Yes, this is not a replacement to the rat room. Remember, your Jeep was disabled before the rat room.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
COG. That's why don't ever listen to CNN.
I know. You're right.
Well, there was a famous vlogger who said that that this scene replaced the rat room, and I misremembered it. Don't worry, I've as your driver on this adventure, I'll lead you through. Just but the real replacement to the rat room, it's unforgettable.
So what did this? This was just darkness then.
This was just darkness. Okay. Yeah. So this is a completely added scene.
Got it.
It's it's a little it's a little thing, so that's good. And then right here, this is the replacement to the rat room here. Let's see if we get a good shot of it.
Oh my god, dude.
See, that was impressive. I love that.
What a difference from the rat room to this. The rat room was, oh my gosh, that was the weakest part of this attraction. You could tell it was a projector.
But there was times that you passed through that and you didn't even know it was the rat room. Like first timers, if they were to go on the attraction before it got any kind of lengthy refurbishment or what have you, like in its kind of beat down version, people wouldn't even know that it was a rat room.
The projection wasn't very strong. It was kind of weak. It wasn't very bright. It didn't look good. This is incredible. And I think it'll play even better in real life, like in person,
Yes.
than it does on video.
And it's kind of crazy because I've seen this effect from a few different angles. It looks like it has dimension to it, but then it looks like it's a projection. So I had to actually experience it in person and just kind of see how much dimension there actually is in person. But this scene is really impressive. And what Kim Irvine says about it is, this force of Mara turns a possible passageway escape into a rubble of dust. Go ahead, OG.
Well, I have a question. We've talked about it actually recently, that they've developed new technology, like projection technology. We talked about for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. For that attraction, they're going to have these projected backgrounds that have a lot of depth to them.
Yes.
Is this a hint of things to come for that attraction? Possibly.
Didn't they pioneer some new tech for Navi River Journey as well? That
they did.
You could have projections, but you could have depth to them as well.
Yes.
Do you think, George, this is the next evolution of that tech, and maybe we might see, to OG's point, the next evolution?
I think honestly that's the route that they would have to go. I think to salvage anything of that attraction, they have to wow us with something, and I think that would probably be the best route for them to go. Now, as far as with the in-depth projection, I agree with you, Dre. I would have to see this in person to actually compare it to Navi River. Now, this does seem a little bit less than Navi River. Navi River has a little bit more. I don't know if it's because it's the angle, because you're coming in at a curve, where with Navi River you have to look at both sides, either left or right, or what's in front of you.
And I think there are props and so forth and landscape that
correct
augment that sense of depth as well, right? Okay.
Yes.
Right. And I had to see if this is that same way. If I had one complaint, it's this. As you round about this turn of the track here, now you see the other side of that, so there was no passageway at all. So it's a little kind of like the Mosasaurus issue, right? Where the Mosasaurus in Jurassic World at Universal Studios Hollywood, he's in this big tank, right? And you can see him on both sides, and he swims under, dips over, all that kind of stuff. And then when you round the bend, you see that there's nothing back there. So it kind of breaks the illusion right there. If I had one kind of critique, it'd be that maybe that passageway be angled a little bit more this way, so that it looks a little bit more convincing when you round the bend right there. But still, I mean, like, small critique. I got to nitpick.
No, it's a great point though, and I never considered that. But you're absolutely right. Once you round the bend, it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah, it is a little bit, but the effect is phenomenal, and it's way better than the rats. So I'll take it.
It's like the best description I have for that is like when you use like one of those dating apps, and it's like this person is like completely like for you, and then you go and meet them, and sure enough, it's Brie Larson.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Catfish. Catfish. I hate that. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, well, it's an illusion. Okay, so here we go. This room right here, no dimensional skeletons here, but it looks like this has been refreshed as well. It looks brighter, it looks more vivid, and it looks like the color palette has also changed. Maybe a little more green. It looks better. Is it as convincing as every single effect that we've seen beforehand? No, still. Still falls short,
I think this is the most lackluster out of the rooms,
and it always has been.
Yeah.
Yep.
It always kind of reminded me of one of the scenes from I don't know if you fellas have seen it, the Legends of the Hidden Temple from Nickelodeon.
Yes.
Oh, did I watch? I used to love that show. Are you kidding me? That was a great show.
Yeah, it has always looked a little.
Okay, can we pause it real quick, Trey?
Sure.
What I would have done, and it doesn't really matter, I guess, what I would have done, but I mean, I think that they're obviously going with like a very flat painted on design, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
I think
you have to understand this is very narrow. There's not a lot of room for depth here.
Right. And so what I would have done, I would have leaned into that. And so I would have had, like, if you ever look at like these Egyptian tombs, right? these kind of like these pharaohs and stuff. You have that kind of like imagery like painted on like these stone walls.
Yeah.
And then maybe something comes at you. Like maybe it could be even Dartoon, whatever. But I think that would have worked better because it would have been. It's supposed to be a painted wall, right? It's supposed to be that way. With this, it's supposed to be, I guess, skeleton warriors coming after you, but they're painted on a wall, so it never is really fully convincing. I would have leaned more into it actually being a painted wall, and some kind of magic occurs that comes out of that and attacks you. That would have been a stronger way of approaching this little hallway. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, there's a Ooh, okay. I don't know. Did you guys hear that?
No.
Do you guys hear anything? Okay, good.
No.
All right. That's had some audio play there, and I was worried. I was like, oh no, we're gonna get copyright. Like, okay, so this is.
I was gonna say, if you broke wind, Dre, it's fine. We all did it.
Come on. All good.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I'm building
you guys
up one right now. It's all good.
You guys are hilarious. So this is the equivalent scene in Tokyo. Going a little bit before the skeleton room here. Attractions 360, by the way. Give credit. You can see right here. That's dope.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what they got instead of our rats. And then here, you can see it's kind of like carved.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
You see that? Yeah, I still hope they do something like that for us someday. But it's,
why does it seem like theirs is so much faster too? Like that thing is really moving.
That's a good point. I don't know.
My God.
Yeah, they zip through it, don't they? There might have been some operational differences there. And I know the ours is hydraulic based.
Yeah.
Theirs is electric. So little differences, subtle differences there. Okay.
Yeah.
So we go through again. I do agree with you, OG. Not super convincing, and there are better ways to implement this.
Absolutely.
I'd like it to be carved out, but that's just me. Okay, here we go. We're moving through now. And here we go. Okay. He seems to be a different
it's new.
Yeah,
A,
yeah.
Right? Like he's different.
Can you zoom in to his face?
Oh.
It's a YouTube video probably.
Oh, is it?
not.
Is it a
Yeah,
okay.
you're gonna have to look close. He seems different. I've seen some other videos, and I've really kind of studied his expression closely. He looks different. So I don't know.
I mean, I could see it from here. Like you could definitely tell.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't know if it's a new head.
No,
right?
isn't he
New
also
mold?
the angle that he's looking? Because he's like looking straight ahead. Wasn't the other Indy kind of his head turned to his right, our left a little bit?
I don't remember.
Orientation could have been different, but he moves completely, and I believe, his mouth moves too, which did not occur before. So he is much more convincing for sure. And then, so they said that the audio animatronics were worked on. Let me see if I can get a good picture here.
Oh yeah,
A
man.
little bit right there, right?
Yeah, that's
His mouth even
good.
everything. Great.
His mouth moves and everything. Yep. And so I don't know if it's a new head and they just reworked the body, or if it's a brand new figure altogether. But he's moving, and he's emotional, so that's good. He's not just a puppet up there,
Yeah.
which he kind of was before. All right, so the big baddie. Here we go. Does it work this time? No, it did not work.
Oh, it doesn't work. Okay.
It does work. It just
It does.
It looks like they were backed up and load, and that's what happens.
Now-
Let's see if I can actually find it on this video.
Now, has the timing for the sound effect work? Because I know at times you don't hear the big boulder making the clashing sound, or sometimes it comes a little bit too early or too late. Did they fix that issue? Like right at the end?
I think so. I've looked at it a couple times on some other video. You can see how bright he is now too.
Yeah.
This
It was
before-
working on the few that I've seen, but
right there. Yeah,
Okay.
the boulder's working. It is working. It's just
Mr. Daps.
So when you could see too in this video, see how they're stopped, and you can see the
Yeah.
Jeep ahead. You're not supposed to do that. So they're operationally, they ran behind. Sometimes that scene cannot reset in time. I mean, it's an 18-second scene, and you're on a like a 20-second dispatch or something. I mean, it's like right there. So if they even fall a little bit behind and they get backed up, this is what happens, and it's really unfortunate. But it does work. Boulder does work. All that stuff works. Much brighter in here, and the room effect works right there. So the room actually moves back and forth,
Right.
along with the lighting and so forth. So that all works. And George, to your point about the sound, I believe that is back and working as well.
Good.
Then your last animatronic, Indiana Jones, that you see, it's all very clear. It's all very let's see here, right? Can I get a good shot of it? Right there. Very bright, reworked. His mouth is moving, and it looks like to be the audio animatronic got some work as well. So,
Well, I have to
better
say,
audio,
I
all
can't
the
wait to
audio
actually
from-
see it. I can't wait to see it in person to really give my. I mean, based off of just watching this alone, I'm hyped for it. So I could imagine what it'd be like in person.
all the audio has been reworked. Sounds are clear. Speakers are new. Sound system is new from what I can tell audibly. The lighting new. Projections new. I mean, they cleaned every single skull. They wiped every single surface. They reworked all the audio animatronics. They got old effects that were broken, at least at the time that this refurbishment was actually done, and got them working again, like the snake, the boulder, and so forth. This was a good refurbishment. You know,
Yeah.
Could it have been better? Yeah, it could have been better. But 3 months, reduced budget.
I think it did well for a 3-month refurbishment, to be honest
I
with you.
agree.
I've seen attractions that were done for 7-8 months. And I mean, no disrespect to the people who worked on it, but I mean, Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom went on for almost a half year refurbishment, and they still kept the scrunchies laying all over the mat, and it's like, come on, really?
Well, and keep in mind, as impressive as this Indiana Jones refurb is, there's still more to come on top of the amazingness that we just saw. So very awesome. Very, very awesome. But I think that brings us to our next topic.
Yep.
Toontown.
That's it, man. That's it. You got the Nothing Can Stop Us Now drop there, OG?
Oh, yeah, I got that. Hold on. Give me 1 second, sir. Here we go.
Nothing can stop us now.
That's right.
I know you how.
We can be delayed a little bit via weather. But look, Toontown finally open. I believe it's technically soft today, but everything's operational as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And it officially opens tomorrow, but the media was burned today and all that kind of stuff. It is open, and it looks actually pretty good. We have some complaints to be sure.
Critiques. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, Toontown needed a new lease on life, right? It was becoming a land that was forgotten, unfortunately. The interactive effects the interactive play areas that they implemented initially weren't there anymore. The bulb pit had been abandoned for years. That may have been abandoned for a good decade and a half, actually. And just
for
sat
some
there
pretty
dormant.
for some pretty disgusting reasons too that we won't get into, but yeah. You got that drop, Dre?
Oh yeah, here we go.
There you go. We'll give everyone at home a little idea as to why.
You can imagine for yourself what that was all about. But it needed a new lease on life. I know. Look at it, right? It looks
And
phenomenal.
can I
Let's get
say that these are just all still photographs of the daytime? I cannot wait to see what this land looks like lit up at night.
We've seen that strung lights up there, George.
Yes.
Just
yes.
in this area alone.
Just that little piece of land. So it's like I can't wait to see its entirety.
The hills, from what we understand, are lit up. They're bright. They're vibrant. The lights above your head right there. The El Capitan already looks amazing. Cannot wait to see this land at night. Should be absolutely fantastic. But, it's just, it was for so long. It was abandoned. It was, and you had, lights that were going out weren't replaced, paint that was fading and never painted over. You had the scrim hills there that were tearing and falling apart. it was looking pretty shabby, you know, and the Imagineers actually came in with this new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and really refreshened up this area in quite a delightful way. Even see here, you
I mean, even to even to the point where we all thought Toontown was on its way out. It was going to be an expansion of Fantasyland, or even an expansion to Galaxy's Edge.
Yes, and here's the other thing too. I've been really impressed with a few years ago, before the Pandy. Kim Irvine freshened up our castle, right, with a brand new paint job. Now, that was years ago. I'm talking pre-Pandy. So we're talking 3+ years. And the paint job has stood up very well those 3 years. So whatever new paint they're using seems to be working. Andre, if you can go back real quick to the hills, because the hills were a major problem point for this land, and they would fade like crazy because they're just the sun's just hitting it all day long. If they use the same kind of paint, whatever they used on that castle that hasn't faded at all in like 3+ years, then I think we got something here. I think,
I love the details of the hills. Like before, they just look like oversized green lumps. Like now, these kind of remind me of, if you fellas have seen it, Mickey and the Beanstalk from Fun and Fancy Free, the Happy Valley. That's what that kind of reminded me of when I got to see the
which ties into the Runaway Railway queue, because it actually has the beanstalk and all that. So it's pretty clever, you know. I like that.
It really is a nice tie into Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, as you astutely pointed out, OG. I do like these hills, and to your point about paint, I was talking to Robert Niles about this, and I was talking to him, and I was like, Theme Park Insider. I was talking to him. I was like, you know, are we worried about paint? Are we worried about maintenance? And he's like, you know what? I'm really excited about the maintenance of this attraction, mostly because those new paints that they are using have been so successful in a lot of these very recent projects. And he was excited about utilizing those paint techniques that they have now that they just didn't have access to in 1992. So this should hold up much better. We'll see, of course. This area is a little hot, but there's also much more shade. So that is a welcome change. The colors have been refreshened, and some of the colors have been changed for some of the surrounding and existing facades. You can see here the camera shop. I mean, it just looks amazing.
You know what's weird though about this camera shop?
Sure.
Camera shops, I mean, it's funny because camera shops are kind of, it's a relic of the past at this point, right? No one goes and develops film anymore. Like, I'm just kind of surprised that they kept it as a camera shop and they didn't rebrand it, retheme it into something else. Because like,
it's supposed to be old school, OG. It's supposed to be, you know, it's what is it, like the tunes are like perpetual 1920s, 1950s somewhere in there.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Back then they did. Yep, that's true.
It'll have iPhones, OG. Come on.
You know? Are those little orange trees in the back? Oh, I like that. Orange grove.
Yeah, those are different kind of trees right there. It's actually interesting because I believe it was it Van Gogh who they were inspired by for the swirls in Toontown? Jim Shull recently posted about that. I thought that was pretty cool for these existing hills, but they complement the new hills quite well from what I've seen. Yeah, the Runaway Railway facade. I mean, we've seen this before in other material, but it just looks really, really good. If you can scroll up
real quick, just for in case people at home are not aware, go up a little more. Little bit more. There, right there. That is Walt's Barn.
Yes,
they are actually paying homage to Walt's Barn. I thought that was a really great touch.
And look in the hills, you might spot an interesting little Easter egg as well when it comes to, well, the home of Imagineering. I'll let you guys find that one, but just keep an eye on those hills. You might find 3 letters squished together there. So an abbreviation. Anyway, yes. So some people have complained about the scale of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway's facade. I think it's okay. I'm willing to give it a pass, even though it is larger. The exterior for these things need to be larger. You know, it's like we've all seen it, right? Where people crowd around Indiana Jones and stuff like that. It's really hard to navigate, really hard to get around. You need to have kind of a bigger facade, and they did that here. And I think it just works.
See, and I think for as far as the overall look of the facade, I can understand it for Toontown, because with it being Toontown, you can kind of have the illusion that something is smaller on the outside, but as you enter in, it's much bigger. So I think that's where I can kind of give it a pass in that way, But again, that's just like picking and choosing.
It's a little nitpicky. I mean, it's a little bigger with the scale than the rest of it, but it's so minute. Like, I don't think it's like people. I don't know. It's barely noticeable in my opinion.
Right. Once it's called out to you, you can't unsee it. But if you don't like, I think it works. I think it's just possible. And these facades need to be a certain size, so it's fine. It's cool, and it looks gorgeous at night. So you can't complain too hard. Anyway, here is the debut of the fountain. We saw the topper being added a few days ago, and now the whole thing is revealed in all its glory right here. So a couple things on this. One, I think the final product. Let me just put this out here. I think the final product is actually pretty good. Okay, it's actually really nice. Much more colorful and much more distinctive in design than the former fountains. And I think that's one of the reasons why they got rid of the former fountains, right? Because you have these kind of like these I think like brass or metal structures on those fountains, and it's very kind of traditional in that way. Whereas this is much more whimsical, much more fanciful, and something very at home in this very whimsical Toontown. And so the styles, I'm sure, conflicted, and so they went with this guy right here. They omitted the two prior fountains, and I think it's good. I do have some issues, but you guys want to give your overall thoughts real fast?
Personally, I really love it. I think it looks fantastic. I think it fits the land perfectly. I love the little manholes. It's a dedication to Mickey and Minnie. It's adorable. Aesthetically, it's beautiful. Now, here's the thing. There were quite a few things from the concept art that were not included in the final product. Now, here's the issue. Yes, here's the issue. And actually, our friend Dirk Livy, he actually addressed this. And I think this is not so much a fan issue per se, but I think it's kind of a Disney issue. And I'll read you his tweet, and I think it'll be interesting. He said, all Disney parks concept art should be set on fire to ensure nobody outside of Imagineering ever sees it. Nothing good comes of it. It's true.
It doesn't.
And this is one good thing that Universal does better over Disney. Universal doesn't give you shit until it's basically done.
Yep.
And their fans can't latch on to every little detail. And I think
we have some people who complain about not getting enough, right? Like us when we talk about Splash Mountain.
I would rather, but here's the thing. I would rather get verbal, just verbal details rather than if you're going to put something up on a screen and it's like, okay, here's this, here's this, here's this. I'd rather not see it.
Well, yeah. And with Splash, I think the issue with Splash isn't so much concept art. They're far enough along to show us actual, tangible, finished product, animatronics or something,
Very true, yeah.
But with this, Universal, they give you some vague-ass concept art, and then it's basically you just wait until it opens, right? So, Disney goes a little too deep, and I think that it sets themselves up for fans getting mentally attached to these details. And then when it opens, it's inevitable that there's going to be stuff that gets cut, and it's disappointing because some of the stuff in the art is actually pretty dope. And we're going to go over some of those details that were cut. There's a little turtle in that fountain that I thought would have been really cool, kind of a deep cut kind of Disney thing.
Yeah,
it was cut from the final product. It's really disappointing, but I would have rather have not known that, right? So I think they get a little too detail.
It's like get their budget first, and then show us what you can do with said budget.
Right. And there's the little turtle, and he's from a Disney short from the 30s, and he's adorable. But the poor guy got cut.
That's if memory serves me correctly, I think his name is Sheldon.
Yes, I think you're right.
That's awesome.
I think you're right. Oh, and they cut poor Sheldon. Come on, you're doing Sheldon dirty like that, Disney?
I know. It looks like the seashells that were there would spit up water themselves. That doesn't actually happen. They do have some cool effects that they did actually do, but should be noted. There's like a fish on one of the petals up there that's not there. And then I guess Minnie, like her, what is it? Her watering bucket is pouring onto actual flowers on the big flower, but those flowers are not present as well. Now we kind of see that there were some changes to the development cycle. Exactly. There were some changes in the development cycle, and you can see that that the fish had now moved to the kind of the base of the fountain. Sheldon is still there. The flowers have been removed, and some things have changed, but you can still see that the shells were supposed to spit out water themselves and so forth, and it's just some tweaks have actually taken place between the concept artwork and the model itself. And then when we actually go to the actual photographs, let's see here. We will get into that eventually.
Oh yeah.
The characters are no longer present. So, and the little shells aren't actually spitting out any water. Now, we'll go into some effects that actually did make it, and some things that we weren't quite expecting. But the characters and the flowers, they are gone, and it's very interesting that they didn't include those little pieces.
Well, and there's something going on with the shells, because when you look, there's video and there's pictures where like there's like a white like bulb or something in these little clamshells. I'm guessing it's probably a lighting effect of some sort at night. We'll probably find more out tonight when people can actually take video of the area and what have you, and we can see this all lit up. So I think it might be a lighting effect, these little clamshells, instead of a water effect, but we'll see.
Like
I don't know.
lighting up the pearls, basically.
Yeah, like little pearls that light up. Exactly. So
this is a live stream actually happening right now from the Walker Chronicles. Going over, and OG, to your point, I think this is kind of the video that we're looking to get into. I was very busy on the first soft opening day of Mickey's Toontown. Very busy, actually. And hey, removing things like the Jolly Trolley station that was there, or the Jolly Trolley tracks, opening this area up, having a little bit more green space in various areas, and getting rid of the fountains on each side. I think that will help out tremendously with traffic, but you can see it is thick. So this is going to be interesting to see. But Walker Chronicles actually walks over here. Let me see if I can actually get there. There we go. And let me see if we can get an angle here. See right there. See where the little girl's hand is actually reaching into that seashell?
all right.
If you look down into those seashells, and you can see that they are, the open ones are strategically placed on the outer perimeter of it, and open in such a fashion where if there was an LED inside of them, they would cascade light onto the actual fountain itself. Those look to be, I think you're right, OG, I think they're like little LEDs. I think that's what's actually going on here. We'll have to see, but from what we have heard, there's supposed to be a fantastic kind of night show with this, so to speak.
Very cool.
And
I
then
love
you
it.
can see-
And I love the aesthetics of the 1930s kind of Mickey and Minnie. I think that's fantastic.
So when he zooms in, see there? There's like a water zipping effect up there. You can see the nozzle.
Oh yeah, like the
going
tiki
down.
room.
Oh
Yeah, a little bit like
there's,
Tigger,
there's the
yeah.
nozzle right there. It's sitting upon the pedals.
You can see it right there. So that's pretty cool. I mean, this is, and you can also see the cattail right there shooting out water as well. Very kinetic, very colorful.
I like it. I like it,
like
but
it too.
but I know what you're gonna mention, Dre. So I'll let you.
Okay.
Get into
See
that.
this area? It's pretty wet. It's wet, and it seems to be perpetually soaked. So I don't know what they're gonna do about that. I'm sure operations is looking at that, going, we gotta fix that. So we'll see how long this version of this fountain
What I'm
lasts,
curious
but-
about is why the whole perimeter is wet. Because even, yes, I get it because the water's coming down, and if kids splash and what have you, you would get areas. But what is making the whole entire?
It's been very windy today in California, and you can see when Ken Potrock did his little opening ceremony this morning, the trees in the background are really going. That's adding to it quite a bit, but we get a lot of wind in California, so it's still an issue because we're gonna have windy days. So
every single image I see, even without kids, it's just a lot of water in all directions. So
is it only
it's
just
going to
the
be made
wind?
worse by wind, but I think there's something going on here where it's just a little wetter than I think operations would like. So we'll see. Maybe the flow is adjusted in order to reflect that. And look,
maybe they have to like kind of tone it down a little bit. Maybe it's a little too high.
A little too high, right? A little too high. We'll see. Hopefully they keep it the way it is, even in spite of these issues. It looks to me that the surrounding area, it's what is it? It's got some texture to it, so you don't slip and fall. So I think it'll be fine, but I know ops. They can't help themselves. Let's see. Should we get to I think the wishing tree next to it, I think is a good place to go.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
This is the weakest part of the whole redo, in my opinion. Really disappointing.
I agree. OG.
Really
okay, here's the concept art. Here's the reality.
Another reason why they shouldn't release concept art, right?
Maybe you have a point here. Keep it vague.
I would have rather have been a fake tree, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. We had the Chippendale treehouse, right?
We did.
Why didn't you? If you can move, look, I'm not an engineer. Maybe it wasn't possible. Maybe it was all cement and you couldn't move it. I don't know. But you had it.
Well, they could have made the tree right where it was. They didn't even have to. I mean, could have they have just left the tree where it was and just make that the location of the wishing tree?
That's true. Yes.
Maybe it's not a permanent thing there that's there right now. Anyway, okay, but I'll keep it vague for those reasons. I agree with you, OG. I thought they were going to go with a fake tree because it's just very, very difficult to do the whimsical thing with a real tree. It's very difficult, and with a fake tree, you can kind of like. You can uproot it a little bit, maybe make some holes and cutouts for kids to actually crawl under and
it's
through
like
and
Animal
stuff like
Kingdom
that.
tree, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, even look at the concept art.
Oh, sorry.
If you could go back to the concept art,
yep.
where you can kind of see like as if like the trunk is growing out from underneath the ground, and you get these waves of different trunks at different locations. You could see multiple, and then when you go over to the real thing, it doesn't even look like it's even matching to where the tree is located.
No, this is borderline embarrassing. Okay, this was not.
Oh my god!
But let's hang some Wonderland lanterns on the tree, and we'll call it a day.
It just this execution it didn't pan out. I mean, I'm just being completely honest. Disney, this didn't work.
It doesn't even look like a fresh tree. I mean, at least get something that's a little bit more vibrant.
Well, and it's winter. That's the thing, and we're going into spring, so the leaves haven't grown in yet. Go ahead, Archie.
Right? No, and I'm not a huge fan of. And look, I'm shitting on this a lot, but believe me, 99%.
It looks like someone already did.
but believe me, 99% of Toontown, I'm really happy. But this in particular, I'm super disappointed. The tree, number one, does not look good. Number two, I'm not a big fan of like the squishy kind of material that they have on the ground. They have the same kind of material around that big ball in Tomorrowland. I think it looks really, really cheap, like almost like McDonald's Playland-ish.
That's what it's like, and also a lot of public parks have those too. Like
why didn't they just do the fake? Why didn't they just do the fake grass again? It looks way better than this.
I don't know why they didn't go with the fake grass. It seemed to me that they were going to go with the fake grass.
But again, to your point, Dre, could that be because something else was meant to be there? So why put in something more?
Well, he's referring to the Chippendale location.
The Chippendale location. This was always meant to be the wishing tree, and it looks like they had like other bushes and other ferns and flowers to kind of break this area up, or at least the appearance of them.
Okay. So you meant where the location of the Chippendale tree, but do you still think that even plans could change of this location? Because to me, this doesn't look permanent.
Tree.
But that doesn't look permanent to me, though.
It's just terrible execution. I'm really disappointed because the rest of the decisions made here, and I've been look. I even defended the idea of getting rid of those 2 fountains and having the one Mickey and Minnie fountain. As much as I love the Roger Rabbit fountain, I think we still got a fantastic fountain that adds a lot of value to the land. This, I'd rather them just have a grassy knoll at that point. I don't need this adds 0 value and it actually takes away.
And if you look, and if you look at the real photo, like back at where you can see the buildings, everything, even the color palette doesn't even match of what the back of the end of Toontown looks like compared to this. This looks like very, I hate to say it, it kind of looks somewhat depressing for Toontown.
It does. And maybe better pictures will emerge of this, or some better video to kind of give better context. Maybe. That could happen. But from what and this is the only photo we could find of it. Like none of no vloggers or anything are really even going in this area. I don't know why.
Well, there's nothing there.
Yeah, but
it's
you say
a large swath of nothing. But yeah, you'd think that there.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Is it the wishing tree or the dreaming tree?
I don't know.
Is it one of
the I'm not sure. One of the two. It was supposed to be dedicated. It was supposed to be.
George, you want to look it up for us?
more like a nightmare.
Well, it was supposed to be dedicated to Walt Disney, which even makes it more like, oh, man, now you really pissed me off. You know, it's like, God,
oh no,
come on,
oh, no, this is fail. This is so bad. Like, and they hype the crap out of this too.
They did. That's the problem.
It's just like,
come on, Disney.
It's not good. It's just not good. I will give certain things a pass, right? And I'll give them the best chance they possibly can. I have little critiques, but I have critiques about everything. This is not a critique.
Yeah, but no, this is
legit.
Yeah, this isn't a critique. That's just plain out sad.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Oh yeah, Pete meet and greet though.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is dope. This is
pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Never had a Pete meet and greet before in any theme park that I can remember. So
say that 10 times fast. Say that 10 times fast. Pete meet and greet.
Pete meet and greet. Yeah, there you go. Right, it's a little challenging, but I never seen it. So this is actually pretty cool. This is really fun that they brought this character out. I believe they have a place to meet Clarabelle as well, and some of the other characters, and that is phenomenal right there. You can even see Donald meeting by his boat. That's very, very cool. Overall, look pretty nice. Ooh, we got a light here too.
Yeah,
you can see at night.
It's so refreshing to see classic characters, but brand new to the parks, get a meet and greet that they just been overlooked for so many years. So it's nice to see them being incorporated in there.
I love this character, and I fell in love with him actually with Goof Troop. He's fantastic. Him and his wife Peg. It's great family. I love this guy. I'm really glad they added him. You know,
I am
really
too.
Great stuff.
I am too. The not so great stuff, just to balance this out a little bit. Well, choose your picnic. I knew it was like 3 snacks. What are the size of those snacks gonna be? Well, people found out. Yeah, okay, not good.
No, but to be fair, okay. So the price, how much is the price of all this? Like $25?
$29.
They charge $40 for the Nintendo popcorn buckets over at Super Nintendo
That's
World.
True. Okay. $25 for the picnic basket, and then to make it a perfect picnic basket with blanket, it's $36. So $25, $36. That's where we're going there. To your point, Super Nintendo charges a lot. So you're
not getting the whole.
Yeah, you get the whole Mickey glove there. The
I just wish that they would have gave something portion size that when you look at that picnic basket, it's like, wow, you could fit like a whole lot in there, and it's like, yeah, here's your one Baby Bell cheese. It's like,
That's funny, dude. That's
I
funny.
know.
These little tiny ass like.
When I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" It's like it's the rejects from Oogie Boogie Bash. Like, what is this? Like, oh my goodness gracious!
The kid
Carrots
gets-
and grapes and like the
Yeah,
little cheese.
You're right though. Like the rejects, like some kid gets a bunch of like carrots and baby goat cheese. Like, what the hell is this? I wanted Reese's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
this is the Chippendale menu. It's like
Yeah.
It's
Look, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. A lot of people are like really falling in love with that basket. It's cute. See the blanket is actually. I like the blanket more.
Blanket's dope, yeah. Blanket's dope. And then there's a 40 by 41, and then in the shop they sell a 60 by 61. So
yeah, lay out a 60 by 60 blanket to eat your little baby bell cheese and a small packet of carrots.
Little baby carrots, you know.
the blanket's cool. For 35, it's not really about the snacks. It's about the that,
bucket,
and it's about the
yeah.
blanket. So I don't know. Like as a value, look, if it's
Not
for
bad.
food, you're getting robbed. But if it's for these specific items, okay.
Not me. No, if
36.
I'm putting up money for a 60 by 60 blanket, they better be giving me a Thanksgiving potluck. It's like
You
see,
get a
so the
40 by
blanket-
40 blanket with the picnic there, George. So a little smaller for you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Yeah, so you get the basket, you get the blanket, and then you get the little baby bell snacks included, and that's like $36. Is that what's all in there?
So 25 gets you the perfect picnic basket. So you have the this item here, right?
Right.
You have 3 snack items, which is from here. Then there's like a mini Dasani or a Minute Maid jukebox, a Minute Maid juice box. Sorry, juice box that you grab, like a little small one though. And then for an upcharge, you can get the blanket with it. So
Now, can I?
really quick, OG, I just
Yeah,
have
go
to say,
ahead.
now there should be a disclaimer that I just have to say, especially for people that are coming in the summertime, it gets really hot, and even just at normal temperatures, if you take a baby bell cheese out in the sun, it's gonna be cheese goop in like 2 seconds. So make sure that you eat that as your first thing before anything else.
Right. Now I have to give Disney a lot of credit. I got to give their whatever team came up with this thing a lot of credit.
Amazing.
Disney managed. Think about this, y'all. Think about this. Disney managed to monetize fake grass. They monetized fake grass. They did the whole little fake grass area, and now they're monetizing it with the picnic basket. It's brilliant.
Chapek's finest moment. Yeah, right? It's oh man. It's true. You gotta give him it, and it's actually, it's pretty cute. Like, I get it.
It is,
It is.
it's cute.
There's issues there, but can't complain too much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Roger Rabbit cartoon spin.
Return of the King.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. I was looking at it, and I was looking at some replays of it. It's all the same. I didn't see any changes, both good or bad. Maybe the lighting was improved. Maybe some things actually did happen in very much the same way that just happened with Indiana Jones. I'm just not sure because it's just not very readily apparent. I had to actually ride the attraction myself. But it seems like the Benny the Cat outside was kind of rocking back and forth. He was supposed to have a little tire that went with it, and I didn't see that moving. But he's rocking back and forth, which is great. And so it looks great.
Oh, George, I just want to ask you, George, real quick.
Yeah.
Everything's pretty much the same with this attraction, but there might be 2 things that are not the same. If I'm not mistaken, right?
just two.
Okay, just want to double check.
Just two.
Well, there's isn't it?
They moved to Epcot.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the busty. Yeah.
Technically, isn't it 4? Because there's 2.
Oh, you're
Rabbit?
right. There's 2
that's
Jessica
right.
Rabbit. Yeah.
That's
so, okay,
right.
there's 4 things that are not quite the same. Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica Rabbit and the changes they made to her, the same.
Man, take
unfortunately.
that off of the Baskin Robbins menu.
Okay.
But can I
boy.
ask you?
Here we go. I got
There we
it.
go.
Yes, folks, we only have high-class stuff on this show.
That's us.
Yes, we do.
Now, did this ride open at all today? Because I just
Yeah.
checked the
it opened.
okay. Because I just checked the I don't know if it's just temporarily done, just for what have you, but it's not. It's not up at the moment, so I wasn't sure.
So via Laughing Place, this just came in. They just posted this. This is the actual attraction itself. So
Okay, cool.
It's back up and running. Like I said, I've seen some video of it. I can't see differences.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. That's it.
There she
And
is.
I can assure you folks that yes, she. Oh well, this room's moving and working. Okay, so yeah, he's moving
Because
That's
this
good.
ride basically did its refurb right before Toontown went down,
Yes.
so it didn't really have anything more to do.
Right.
Practically.
I'm sure. Hopefully, they capitalized on the time that all of Toontown was down to rework some stuff and get stuff working again. I believe they did, but I can't confirm that. All
I
can say
absolutely
is
love this
everything
ride.
looks
I'm
good.
so
Oh,
glad they
yes.
kept this ride.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
great. This is great. Actually, you know what? This ride reminds me a lot of the Mario Kart ride. And that's why I love the Mario Kart ride.
Yeah,
Just
it
the way,
does.
right? The little vehicles and the set pieces. It just reminds me a lot of Mario Kart. It's pretty dope.
It does. That is absolutely true. Added a little bit of AR. You're right there, right? So
There you go. Mario Kart.
It's that I will say the clouds look good in this scene.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I saw that was like, oh, I didn't see those before.
It's a great effect.
Right.
What a wonderful
can-
attraction.
See if I can get Jessica here.
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
Here we go.
There we go.
There she is.
There she is. Oh, and his stars are moving there. That's nice. I also noticed that the dip was working as well.
Okay, cool.
So let's see.
Is that what they call it now?
The camera didn't pan over, but the dip is coming out of the nozzle there
Oh, that's
before
cool.
he actually goes to spray you. Yeah. And then that works as well. That hadn't worked
Awesome.
Oh, that's
for a little while.
That's
so
cool, yeah.
that's great. So it looks pretty good.
Looks
Looks
good.
great.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Market.
So these, okay.
Yep. Cafe Daisy.
The Cafe Daisy, not too much of a difference from like before, but the Good Boy Grocers Market, I'm digging the color schemes. Actually, I'm kind of
You like
digging this. I'm digging it. The greens, the yellows. They got the green and white kind of old school stripes down below. I don't know. I'm digging it. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was the old gas station.
Right.
And I don't like they had those little gags where like in the gas it was the fish and everything like that. And that was kind of cool, but it's so faded. It's just had been
They repurposed one of those away.
Did they really?
One of the fish, I believe it's in the Gadget Go Coaster now. Yeah, someone had a video of
Really?
it. They repurposed one of those. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great use of that stuff right there. Perfect. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, yeah, I mean, so these all those gags are gone, and now it's a little bit more of a food court, which basically ended up being. So I think this is a better implementation. We did see the restrooms while we were there last time; they look good as well. So
Yeah.
all thumbs up there. Let's move on here. See,
Here we go.
here's the thing, right? Hey, there was a plan. At one point, I'm telling you, folks, there was a plan at one point. Gonna have a bypass, move it all the way, and have a pathway actually built, moved all the way, and provided provided a pathway all the way from Toontown to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Oh, sorry. It was in the plans. They were gonna do it, and this is what we got.
They really should have, and
Yeah.
I mean, it would really improve the flow.
Absolutely.
It's never good to create like cul-de-sacs in theme parks, and this is definitely a cul-de-sac. And
I can
it
show you an
causes a lot-
example of that
Yeah.
right here. Well, right when we're walking in here, look at this. See that? See how people are moving out? See how people are moving in?
Right.
That could be reduced greatly if there
Open
was
it
an
up.
exit.
Yeah, and from what we understand, and Dre, I don't want to put you on the spot, but we did in the past. We've shown like those Google Maps, and the reason why maybe they didn't connect. There's an expansion pad in between Toontown and Galaxy's Edge. They're probably waiting to fill that out, and so it can connect these two.
Right. And there's also a maintenance road that goes back there too, so they have to address that. I think there is a plan to eventually connect these. Like you said, OG, that expansion pad will be filled. And I think when that happens, there will now be budget provided to do that correctly.
Do you think it'll be for the long-awaited sit-down restaurant for Galaxy's Edge?
See, this is really interesting, George. There's enough room for both. So there's enough room for a pathway, enough room for the sit-down restaurant, and an expansion pad for their attraction.
Oh, wow. Then,
yes.
Yep. WDI, make it happen.
I'm telling you, right? So, Mando attraction, here we go.
Oh, that would be the Mando thing. The Mando thing that Jon Favreau was kind of blue skying.
Razor Crest.
That Mando thing, Mando attraction. It's like a guy like Favreau doesn't just throw an idea out there like that without there being some legitimate.
He was giving it some thought, right?
My only criticism that I hope he doesn't go in the direction with the Mando attraction, because I do strongly feel like that's what's going to be on the horizon, because as you fellas just said, when Favreau says something, he's just not going to just say it just to say it and have, let it be that he had mentioned the fact that he wanted to showcase the technology it was that the show gets put into, which that's where it kind of was a little bit lackluster for me, because I don't really want to see like if this is what he's referring to, like a behind the scenes type of thing.
Right.
Just put me in the Mando story and give me a good kick-ass attraction.
Yeah. Right. He it's weird because his comments are kind of broken up. I want to see if I can get a video and audio recording of his comments, because he says, oh, maybe it should be educational. And then he says, well, maybe it should have a good story and great effects and all that kind of stuff. Right. So it kind of changes a little bit there. It would be cool if they utilize the volume in a way that you don't actually see the volume. That would be quite phenomenal. But we'll see. There are many ideas. I mean, I even heard that they were working on a third attraction and concepts for it all the way up until March of 2020, then everything changed. So
and here's the thing too, in regards to like a connector, this little area right here that used to be the ball pit that's like covered now.
Yes,
that would be a perfect all you have to do is break. I say all you have to do, but it's not that easy. But break down that wall.
Yep,
and now you have a nice little you have a nice little tunnel to go right through it.
And honestly, they didn't do really nothing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And honestly, they didn't really do anything to this that can stop them from it. Like they didn't put nothing in that.
So that's why. That's what I'm saying, George. That's why I think they removed the tree. Right? They removed the tree in order to open this area up for the possibility of.
Then that would make more sense. Yeah.
Exactly. So. Right. But hey, the ball pit is actually being utilized. It's like a shaded area with benches. That's cool. Like I dig it. It's a good use of a decent use of this space, and it's so much better than it being abandoned. I always wanted to go in there and just go in there and under the rocks and everything. Now you can.
Well, and I like what they've done in this reimagining is where they've taken decades of fan complaints like the land is too hot, there's not enough trees, and they've addressed that stuff. There's a lot more trees, a lot more shade in this new version of the land. Long overdue. This place used to be like super hot in the summertime. It was like really uncomfortable, and they've given you some places now to kind of chill and get away from that.
As bad as this looks right here, the what used to occupy this space, this is kind of the park side, like the little kind of roundabout park that used to be here, but just to the it would be the west of it. Like just so if you look down this photo, it'd be in between Goofy's house and the wishing tree. It was Goofy's backyard, and there were some interactive play areas there with some interactive elements. And they had to close it off at a certain point because it was burning little kids' hands. It was getting way too hot, and so. What you dream up in concept doesn't quite translate to reality sometimes, and
that is true.
They seem to have addressed some of those things. I'm not saying this is an example of one of those, but I have to look at the model for this as well and see if this is consistent with that, because this seems to be a pretty big downgrade.
Yeah.
But we'll see that. Oh, I can't go over that, not without our boy OG here, but he's totally right about that. I think there is a lot here that has been that has improved the look of this area here. Let me see if here we go. Okay, so we'll talk about this. They added slides in Goofy's backyard. I believe this is between. Well, this looks like to me it's between Donald's house and Goofy's house on the back.
That's what I
there.
was thinking.
They kind of
Yeah.
expand that area. Okay. Yeah. So the multicolored slides. It's a little too loud.
Yes.
It's just a little bit like it just draws your attention maybe a little bit too much. I can kind of see where they were going with a little bit of it. Obviously, you want to bring attention to the slide so that kids can kind of go up and they can.
But the
slide
color
down.
palette kind of throws off from the rest of the land. It just doesn't. It doesn't fit well.
It does. It does. Now, some people, there's an inclusivity push, let's say, throughout the halls of not just WDI and Glendale, but also Burbank itself, and maybe this is a reflection of that. Okay? I don't think so, because purple is not represented. This isn't technically a rainbow. It's a gradient of colors, but not a rainbow. Pink is also not present. So take that for what you will. I just think but even if it was a rainbow, wasn't a rainbow, this, whatever, it's a little garish. It's
It doesn't have to be a representation of anything. Just that it just doesn't fit well with the land.
It doesn't fit well.
They would
it
have
looks
been
like Sesame Street more than more than
Completely.
Toontown. I'll give that credit to Captain John D. Go ahead, OG.
Captain John D. No,
Captain John
what they
D.
should. Yes, what they should have done though is they should have just had Goofy colors to kind of tie it into because it's Goofy's area. I don't know. Weird color choice, weird idea. It's very cheap looking.
Well, wait a minute. Now I'm trying from you saying that, I'm trying to think. Blue for his pants, green for his hat.
Where's the red though?
Yeah, he's not red.
The red's kind of throwing it off for me. Yeah.
It
doesn't work.
Just doesn't quite work.
Yeah, no. I mean, it still doesn't add up. So
The light fixtures up there look kind of cool.
Those look
very
cool.
unique.
Yeah.
So that'll look cool at night. Again, got to see it at night. This is gonna be really dope. Let's see here. Okay, I think there's a couple more things before we get into the really good stuff here. I know I'm kind of holding off a little bit, but
No, you're
just want
fine.
to kind of work you up here. Powerline got the candies, right? So some of those things that we saw in the concession stand in the queue for Mickey Minnie's One Over Away, well, they've made them available for purchase, which is awesome.
Well, do you know what? You know why, Dre?
Because
they overheard us when we were in the line. They take notes.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, no, this is brilliant. And you know what? Anytime they incorporate more of the Disney afternoon into the parks, I'm all for it. I love the Disney afternoon. Love those characters. Do it more, Disney.
I know. I do agree with you. Let's see here if there's anything more. That's got Goostin thread, but it's just like it's messed up now. Let me see if I can look them up here. Sorry, guys. I'm on the fly today. Okay,
We're on
here
the
we
fly.
go. We're on the fly. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. So we have a more photos here.
Okay. Now see that
even
looks
at night.
better. That looks better, in my opinion. Now, still not great, but that other picture was so unflattering. This looks much better.
Yeah, I have to say this does look a little better.
Much better, and you can see these lanterns are actually lit up too as the sun continues to fall today. It looks better. It looks better. It's not fantastic still.
No.
But much better, and the scale is much better. I think that wide angle lens kind of made this area look a little bit more plainer than it was.
And the tree looked a lot smaller in that other photo for certain. Like it didn't look that big. Like I don't know, the way it was shot. This picture from Sky is much more flattering.
I do agree, and the lanterns bring it together.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I'm actually seeing this area here, and it looks like they that kind of squishy material that we were talking about before. I had theorized that it's probably going to be put in here. Looks like it is, and that represents kind of the lake that or the moat that used to exist out here, but is now an actual play area that kids can inhabit. Looks nice. Looks actually well done.
The little sea foam is a nice little touch. Actually, that looks pretty dope.
Yeah, the sea foam as it comes
That's
in.
kind of a
That's
cool
pretty
looking.
good.
Yeah.
These little flowers here, I believe kids can sit in them and spin. I think that's what that is. I saw like a little video of that before, and there's like a little. Do you see that back there? There's like a little tent back there. You see that?
Who's that for? That for Pluto?
I think that's for the kiddos. Yeah, they could just go in there. That's cool.
Okay.
Like a little fort.
Digging it.
A little camp or something. That's pretty cool. Still wish we could access Donald's house somewhat, but it is what it is. Yeah, okay. So this is the ramps and so forth that they use for disabled guests, so they can actually navigate this area, whether you are wheelchair bound or not. Looks good. Looks pretty strong, and I like how this ramp actually the rocks kind of follow the rocks that are featured over there at Chippendale's Gadget Ghost Coaster.
Yeah,
that's
Cafe
good.
Daisy.
Okay, so we got a little bit of that. That's great. Oh, got some more
Got
photos
more.
here.
There's a lot here.
I
Cool
guess so.
signage.
On the fly. Cool.
On the fly.
Pretty good signage. Play is not easily legible. I would have liked to have that been.
Yeah, it's
darker,
a little bit.
along with Donald here, but again,
I like them kind of leaning into the how-to, because the how-to Goofy shorts are really great, and that's such a Goofy thing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. We'll get into Goofy's house in a second.
That was a super hit, surprisingly. I'm telling you that.
That
I was not
blew my mind. We'll get there. And you can kind of see a preview of it right now. I'm telling you, in video, this works a lot better than maybe it does in photos. Cool. It is really, really cool here. Let's see if I can find any more photos in which, you see, there's
there's a basket. And then this is actually a cool little thing. They actually took the podium from opening day in the early 90s, 93, I believe.
There it is.
That one right there. They repainted it and they use it today. How cool is that?
Right. You can see Michael Eisner there, right?
With Paul Pressler. And then this is the, is it Harry Anderson?
Is it Paul?
From Night Court? Well, that was, no, I'm sorry. That's Harry Anderson from Night Court.
Yeah, it's Harry Anderson. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from Night Court. Yeah. And you can see that. 1992, I believe. And then all right there. The same podium is actually used. I will say, I wish they would have had a Shore 55 special right there featured on the... I know, I'm an audio guy, sorry. But pretty cool. This is pretty awesome. This is really cool, really great forethought to have kept this for this long, repainted it, and put it out there. Phenomenal. Okay. Let me see. I think we should get into... Yes, this is where I was going, right here.
This is great.
This makes me happy. This makes me happy.
Chippendale Gadget Go Coaster. Guys, take it away.
Yeah, well, this is really great, because before it was Gadget's Go Coaster, and you would hear her voice in the queue, but you never saw her. This was a really good storytelling kind of device to have her very much featured now on that lift hill, and now you can put a face to the voice. Because look, for oldies like me, the over 40 crowd, I watched this show as a kid. I absolutely freaking loved it. But if you're a youngster nowadays, you don't know who this character is. So I'm glad they gave her a figure, and she's very prominently featured in this attraction, going up that lift hill. You can't miss her, and she looks fantastic. This is a great figure. I love it.
I think it's I mean, look at the sculpt. I mean, it's totally on model. This thing looks amazing, and she was never in this attraction.
Right.
And it was so funny because I would talk to people in line or whatever while we were waiting to board, and it's like, hey, this is Gadget's Go Coaster. who's Gadget? And it's like, there's no Gadget around that I can point to and say, that's Gadget, right? Because, this was implemented at a time with the, Disney Afternoon and Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers when it was a hit show on television. And, well, it hasn't been on syndicated TV for a while, right? And so people became less familiar with it. And so Gadget, it just kind of fell from public consciousness. So it's really kind of cool that even though it's now Chip and Dale's Gadget Go Coaster, that Gadget is still represented here. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. And she does have some lines of audio as you actually ascend up the lift hill, which is pretty fun. I'll let you guys experience that for yourself. But some people did make note that Gadget's wearing clothes, but Chip and Dale are not, which is very interesting, right? I think it's okay. Look, how many people are gonna?
I'm assuming because they wanted to keep Chip and Dale as the Chip and Dale classic, rather than them be the Rescue Rangers.
Right, and there's no classic Gadget. That's the only content she's ever been in was the Rescue Ranger. So that's the way she looks. Yeah, these are great sculpts, though. I'm loving this. And actually, the cool thing about that mug is kind of reminiscent of the Mad Tea Party over there in Fantasyland.
Yes, it is.
And I do love how they incorporated Zipper into it as well. The only one that I would love I wish they would have added Monterey Jack.
Yeah, yes. Monterey Jack.
Yeah, complete the team. It's
right.
I do agree, but it's cool that we got we got some more figures, and these figures are pretty sizable as well in order to fit the scale with the rest of with the rest of the attraction, which is great. And I do think you're right, George. You have to understand it's a roller coaster, so you're only going to be seeing these figures for like a split second. You have to instantly recognize them. I think it's a good creative compromise. But the frogs that used to be in their positions would spit water out on each side. Now Chip and Dale are doing the same thing. It's pretty cool because Dale's trying to catch it with the cup. Pretty fun. It's a pretty fun little detail right there. All painted. The track looks phenomenal. I mean, it really, really does. You'll have to see it for yourselves. It really looks very, very well maintained, which it hasn't for a while. So that's great to see. All right, so let's see. I think that only leaves one thing left, which comes to us via Laughing Place, and this is cool. I wonder if I should play the audio. No, probably not. Anyway. This is Goofy's house. This is really cool.
This is so much better than that bounce house thing. That looks so cheap, I
agree. That's music.
Oh,
that's perfect.
Look at that.
Well, and this is a cool effect. See, the balls are pretty big, right? But once it goes into here, they're tiny now.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's awesome.
It's like a Rube Goldberg machine, and you make it work. You make it happen.
Yeah, that could have went in so many different directions, but I think I'll be good on that one.
Yes. Oh, this looks so good. It's so good. I love it. And again,
I love how they incorporate the kind of like the Goof Troop aspect to it. It's perfect.
They're leaning a lot harder into the Disney Afternoon, and rightfully so. They let that. It was so weird. They went like totally radio silent on that franchise, or Disney Afternoon franchise, for the longest time, and I never understood that. It was so popular, and they're finally like using it again. It's fantastic. Oh, this is cool in here.
Isn't that amazing? Like, it's a whole Rube Goldberg contraption based off the Disney Sunday Afternoon. And it's very physical, We've seen a lot of projections. We've seen a lot of stuff that's kind of like that low maintenance and easy to keep up. This is kind of a very technical thing.
And this kind of takes me back to my childhood of going in Mickey and Minnie's house and starting up the oven and the microwave and have you. So I like that whimsical hands-on aspect to this.
Which I had to check and make sure that those houses were were maybe not plussed up, but refreshed, right? I think they were, but we'll see. I mean, this is adorable. It's all the kind of the squash and stretch as well. very the key aesthetic in Toontown.
Kids are gonna love this.
Oh my god! Look at the kids; they take to it immediately, and it's just like that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
They took the Goofy's Candy concept, which has been sold in Disney theme parks for a little while now, and it's
Right.
like, okay, let's make it. Hey, we have a Goofy house, might as well make it that the attraction, the theme for the attraction. I think it's just phenomenal. I think this is really really great stuff.
Right. This works.
I had to compliment him a whole hell of a lot on this because I'm sure this was not an easy thing to get done, approve. I mean, and look at the custom set pieces and so forth. Jim Shaw just gave an interview with Tom Corliss on WDW News Today, and he was talking about how he came up with like 3,000 different items that were all Squatch and Stretch, these props and so forth that they would lay out in and amongst Mickey's house, just Mickey's house. I mean, it was just a phenomenal undertaking. And so I got to give credit. This took a lot of work here, and the end result is magical. And like you said, George, brings you back to my childhood as well. And now you're passing it on to the next generation.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I want to say again, I like the on the wall, the pictures they're kind of like old school style of all these characters. But then you go to Runaway Railway and it's like the new style. I really like that. I think, like I said, but many times, any kind of Toontown, you're gonna have different styles of animation.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see that different variety in the land. I just love that.
I do too. And this was I thought this was I think Toontown came out a lot better than I anticipated. There are still some issues. There are still some things that it's like, well, could have liked to have had that, could have liked to have that done different, better, whatever. But I think overall it's a net positive. And this is a land that was really struggling there at the end. So it's really glad to see that they have addressed a lot of things that a lot of fans of this land had wanted for so long.
Well, this is the comeback story of the century because like this area internally was really being talked to be replaced. There were heavy rumors that Disney wanted to, expand Galaxy's Edge. George touched upon that, or Fantasyland. I mean, it was really not looking good for Toontown for quite a while. And now with the Runaway Railway being added in this refresh, we have at least another 20, 30 years of this land to enjoy, which is fantastic.
That's cool. Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin always plays, and I never felt that attraction was going anywhere, no matter what. But it needs a land to complement it, and people need a place that they can see Mickey Mouse no matter what time of day it is. So those things still worked. As much as they did back in the 1990s or late 1980s when this was being dreamt up. So it's really, really cool that they kind of kept the best aspects of it and reworked the things that just didn't quite play as well as I think Imagineers originally hoped.
And that used to be the only place to be able to see Mickey Mouse. Like, I mean, like he would be in the parades and what have you, but to actually get that one-on-one close-up interaction, everyone knew you went to Toontown.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to take this time and highlight one more story. And this one, I don't like to end on a sour note, but I have to. I mean, this needs to be addressed, Disney. Come on, Disney.
But real quick, before we go any further, who are we crediting for this one?
Okay, so this is right here, Adventures Beyond Adversity.
Perfect. Take it away, sir.
They're a channel dedicated to going to the parks with a disability, right? How accessible is everything? How is everything navigable, navigable for your particular situation? Can you do this? Can you do that? That kind of thing. And they're a phenomenal channel. I recommend everybody go check them out for sure. But this video was brought to my attention, and I think... Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Before you continue, Andre, and I just have to say... it's great that you actually brought this up because I had contacted Walt Disney World myself on this matter involving Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and also Navi River Journey because my mom is a disabled person. And those are two attractions that she would absolutely love to enjoy. But unfortunately, of what we're going to touch upon now, she cannot.
Right.
So, and then I'll leave it at that.
Completely fine, George. Completely fine. In my later years, we've more and more are we going with guests who have a disability, who need maybe additional time to get on or off an actual attraction, or maybe they need some assistance or whatever. And it is become profoundly it's profoundly more important to me than maybe it had been before. Maybe as I've reprioritized some things in my own life. So I kind of. OG, you provided a wonderful platform for which to showcase things. I kind of wanted to showcase this issue, so that maybe some change can actually come. You can see here that this couple, who, as you can see here, the husband I believe is wheelchair bound, and they have a big issue, as you can see here. In this footage. And so what you're seeing here is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Behind the regular loading area, there is a loading area for guests with mobility issues, right? And who maybe need a little bit more time to board. So they have dedicated one of these cars to just this area for this specific purpose. And you can see here, you see how there's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is very interesting because it's on an elevated platform and you actually walk into the actual cars. Even for a perfectly, people who are maybe less disabled have an issue coming out of here. I've actually tripped myself coming out of here. I mean, it's like a big kind of step here. So I can only imagine what this is actually like for somebody who maybe doesn't have the use of their legs, for example. This could be very, very challenging for them, right? And you can see that he has some big difficulty getting in. One of the reasons is because, if I can go forward in this video here, you can see that there's a panel that kind of sticks out right there. And that really kind of prevents ease of access into and out of the vehicle. To give you an idea, here is almost the exact same vehicle in the form of Rise of the Resistance over there in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And you can see how that panel opens like a door. And so people can easily get in and out of that vehicle. That is not at all present with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. You can also see the height difference there as well. So instead of having to step in like you do in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, it is a level surface with maybe somebody's wheelchair in this case. And I won't play this video in its entirety, but this gentleman has a very hard time getting in and out, to the point where he doesn't feel like he can actually ride on it again. Disney, you make a big note about your inclusivity when it comes to catering to people with certain disabilities. And a big note was actually a priority when it came to Mickey's Toontown, for example. Guys, we got to address this. Just have that door swing open, and maybe provide a way,
even how I mentioned even before the show, even if they were to have a much wider vehicle specifically for people that may even have even more difficult time to even get in, that they could have placed like in the back of the train or what have you. There's so many different possibilities, and Disney kind of lacks at that department.
Ideally, you'd like a custom car that you can just kind of roll into. That would be the optimum.
Right.
And I think that can be achieved. You have to rework some things, obviously. You'd have to have a new car fabricated. But this is not at all accessible.
It's not feasible
It's just not. There's not even grabbing bars or anything to get yourself in and out of there. I mean, it's... things can be improved here, so if nothing else... we've complained a lot about little aesthetic choices and so forth in this video, but this probably needs to be addressed more than any of those other things.
No, this is very important. This is very, very important. And like you're right, Ray. I mean, Disney kind of I don't want to say like sold it or like promoted it, but they did very much focus on the accessibility of this Toontown reimagining to everybody. And I think that's great. I think that's fantastic, especially for a land for little kids. When you're redesigning this place for a kid with a disability or what have you, it's great that they can enjoy this place just as much as anybody else. That's fantastic. But that should also include your main signature attraction in the land as well. Absolutely. And what about people like this gentleman who has a disability and he's having a really hard time getting into this vehicle? They gotta fix this. They gotta figure out something.
This isn't nitpicking. This is a main priority that needs to be addressed.
We all have loved ones that have some. Everyone has a loved one that they know that has something going on, right? This hits home to pretty much everybody. Yeah. So it's important. It is.
Needs to be addressed. For sure. And it was disappointing to hear these people's experiences when talking about this, because it was like, wow, you know, Disney's kind of made this a big priority for them, and to fail in this way, in this manner, disappointing to see. So hopefully that will be addressed. Maybe keep the comments coming at Guest Relations specifically for that, if you happen to stop in there. But outside of that, though, I think overall, when it comes to Toontown and the improvements that they made to the actual land itself, the shade that was much needed, the elimination of the Jolly Trolley tracks, the Jolly Trolley station, reworking all of that to make it a lot more level and make it a lot more accessible as well. The play areas that they reworked, I think most of them pretty good, maybe even better than what was there before, for sure. Reutilizing dead areas like the ball pit and so forth. That was a good job, Disney, for sure. They really kind of did as much as they could with what they had, and I think it came out really much better than what was there before.
Yeah, and I really like how I think they really utilized the area in a much smarter and a more effective way than what was there before. Before, you had a lot of these areas, like things just kind of taking up space. You got the Jolly Trolley, the station. Yeah, it's kind of sitting there taking up space. You don't use it for anything. What they did with this remodel is they went in there and they started to create spaces for families to hang out, kind of get people off the main walkways, provide more shade, more coverings, just a much better use of the little space that they have in this land, and much more effective. So yeah, overall, I think it was a very successful redo. And I think that this is a good strong foundation to kind of build upon now going forward. If they want to add anything, if they want, now what I wish they would add is an Oswald dark ride. Come on, Disney, get on that one. Get on that one.
Oswald dark ride. I thought there was like a walkthrough video of the actual land itself, but I cannot find one right now. Maybe the entrance. We'll just do this one.
Yeah. Right.
Or not.
Oh,
great. This is fantastic. This is wonderful. With this land, it's always been challenging because you have very, very little ones. Here we go, right there. Can we play it? Yeah, there we go. Sorry. You have little ones, right? You and little ones want to play, and they want to grab stuff, they want to pull stuff, and all that kind of stuff. And well, it becomes a maintenance nightmare at a certain point, right? And so it becomes something that they have to constantly prioritize and dedicate attention to and so forth. And then you have the fading from the sun, and these are very bright colors, right? It's always been challenging, but over the years of them maybe not answering the call to that challenge, Toontown had become challenged in its existence, and so this breathed new life into it. And it's wonderful to see. You can see the smiles on people's faces and stuff like that. It's kind of funny because people who originally experienced this land now have children of their own, so they're passing that down. It's very kind of unique to have this situation where a whole land is re-beautified, refreshed, and now the adults can look at it with new eyes and kind of pass down that experience and in this renewed environment. In a very similar manner that they experienced themselves.
Beautifully said. Well said. Exactly. Now, I have a lot of fond memories of Toontown. When it opened, I was of that age that they were really, I mean, I was like, I think like 14 maybe when this came out, 13, 14. So it was right up my alley. Out here in California, as a California kid, I used to watch KCAL Channel 9. I think at the time, actually, KCAL was owned by Disney. It was a local network here in Southern California. And they would have like specials and stuff live from Toontown and kind of show the land. I was so excited when it opened, and it was just fantastic. And actually, you know what? I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Let's have a little fun right now.
Sure.
Give me just a second while I look for this real quick.
And while you do, OG, it also reminds me of a special that I used to watch that they put on the original Disney Channel. I had mentioned this to you fellas many months ago, maybe even a couple years, but it was called this special was called Mickey's Rockin' Toontown. They had the band Craig and Company, where they would have like a bunch of child dancers and like these fun corny songs that they would perform at night, like a concert series actually in Toontown.
Okay.
And they would premiere it on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, and that's on YouTube. You can check that out. Rockin' Toontown. We're rockin' Toontown.
There you go.
Right? I mean, it was a banger. It was a banger. I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm not going to play the audio for this because I don't want to get
Sure.
like I don't want to get dinged.
I get you.
I'm just going to play it. But this was a commercial. It's on YouTube. Maybe I'll link it down below.
Yeah.
The commercial for this land was absolutely brilliant. It had the animated sun.
Yeah.
Kind of going through the land. Look at it.
Oh my gosh, I remember this.
I do too.
Oh, this is fantastic. Just fantastic, man.
It's fantastic.
This was such an iconic commercial. And the music and everything in this is great. It's just really great. There's the bounce house.
That's it.
Yeah. It was really
Jolly Trolley.
it was really just a fun ad. And yeah, check it out. It's pretty cool. But Toontown has a cool little history, and like I said, it's one of my favorite comeback stories. This thing came from getting bulldozed this close.
Oh gee, you remember hearing those rumors? You remember hearing the same rumors I was hearing? I was like, maybe part, if not all, might be going away soon. Even in that commercial, though, it looks hot. Okay, maybe it's the sun, right? But it's I mean, this was really close, guys, to losing completely.
Yeah.
And then even when Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was approved, originally there was not going to be a refreshment to Toontown applied at all, which was like, come on. I mean, you're going to have a brand new attraction. Fortunately, Chapek, or maybe some others, realized, maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe we do have to refresh this area somewhat. And hey, they weren't given the biggest budget to do everything that maybe they possibly wanted to do, but they did enough, and I think it's great.
Fantastic. No, I'm really happy with how the whole situation turned out.
I am too.
Very, very great. I mean, we talked a lot today about Toontown and that refresh. We talked a lot today about Indiana Jones and that refresh. So far, Disneyland, or at least these recent additions to the park, they've been knocking out of the park for the most part. We'll see if this continues. Right? We got Tiana's Bayou Adventure on the horizon. A lot of people, including everyone here on this panel, very skeptical about that one. Are they going to hit another home run? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, we all want a home run with that, but we are a little nervous with that one. So we'll see how this all pans out going forward.
Check out the sippers here. I just saw.
Oh,
this.
okay. All right.
Look at this. Scott Gooston, by the way.
Oh, Scott Gooston. Okay.
There's like a little sipper, but it's like Donald, and he's like crashing through it, and it's like all painted and everything.
That's
small,
clever.
But it looks kind of cool.
That's very clever. Like he's half in, half out. That's pretty cool.
I think we'll see some nice merchandise stuff here. Oh, I didn't even talk about the engineer's store. Engineers, it opened, right? And you had the references to the Viewliner in there. And from what I understand, that store is chock full of references up above and around and stuff like that. Go definitely check that out. And it doesn't quite make up, I don't think, the Gag Factory, but it was a nice, like, it was a very nice, well done store that kind of fit with both Toontown and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and the new story that's there. Got the Viewliner up there, actually moving around the store and stuff like that.
Cool.
They did it. They did it, and that's really great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you both for joining me today, talking Indy, talking Toontown. Really, really good conversation. Dre, if you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Yes. And if I was a little bit scatterbrained today, I do apologize, but this is a little last minute. And, sometimes all that happens. But if you want to see more scatterbrain ramblings, you can go ahead right there to @VashSky, just like it's said right there. For, as Christine Waysons McCarthy would say, for all the
Robust.
discussion right there. And if you want to see me, well, it's going to be on the channel you're watching right now at Orange Grove 55, where we have some amazing shows. Citrus Corner with George. Down below, we have Orange Nerd and Orange Grove 55 to my left, yes, right there. And then we just recorded a fantastic, I think, OG, Story Geeks with Jay. I mean, this was, I think it was pretty phenomenal. Now, look, I understand people have problems with the Mando episode, but I think it actually worked quite well.
And you know what? I gotta give Dre credit for this episode. Okay, I gotta give Dre credit for this episode. This guy blew everyone's freaking mind on that episode. The stuff he was. I'm telling you, I was really impressed, Dre. I'm not blowing smoke. I mean, this was really great stuff. You should really check out this episode. The way we break it down, Dre's analysis. I mean, it was really, really awesome show. Awesome show.
Well, I do appreciate it, OG. I was inspired after the episode, so I researched it and thought about it, and hopefully it comes out on camera. But thank you so much. It's worth checking out, folks. Even if not just for me, for everybody else on the panel. It's really phenomenal.
Absolutely. Jay is a phenomenal host. We love Jay. He's a phenomenal host. Really passionate about Star Wars. We had Megan, a newcomer to the channel. She was a lot of fun. Really good stuff. Check it out if you can.
Pretty good stuff for sure. And if you, want to check all of that out and more, including my own show, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh right from the grove. You gotta subscribe, folks, because as Walt would say, it is the biggest bargain around.
Yes, love that little jingle. Down below, we got Mr. Manscape himself, Mr. Balls to the Wall, George, the Disney Family Man 23. George, take it away, my friend.
Thank you. If you want to find me, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Disney Family Man 23. You can interact with me on Twitter at Disney George. Please check out the new podcast, A Walk with Walt. And you can find me here on my home base with Orange Grove 55 at Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
I'm trying to find one to actually use here.
How about this one?
That's perfect.
Since we're doing Toontown, might as well. And we'll do one more for good measure. There we go.
Fantastic.
But Dre, real quick before we go, didn't you had something to add to George's little sticky? What did you say last time? It was sweet and sticky.
For everything sweet and sticky on Walt Disney World, Citrus Corner.
That's good. That's good.
But he delivers it a little bit differently. I just thought, well, it's on top of my head. That's how I'm going to refer to it. There you go.
That's awesome. Well, thank you all for watching. Comment down below. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.